Hello, everybody. It's me, Lindsay Rogers, and welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Fan Blog. And I wanted to talk to you guys about last night's the final AEW Dynamite of 2020, which, by the way, was the best because it was a tribute show for John Hooper, otherwise known as the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. There was not a dry eye. I mean, everybody was in tears, and then it turned into laughter. And everybody was telling stories about this. And I'll explain. So yes, this is some spoiler. If you guys haven't checked out if you haven't seen AEW Dynamite, I highly quickly not watch this yet until you do. But if you did, thank you, because here are some of the spoilers of what happened. So everybody had a story. I mean, Jon Moxley did. John Silver. Yeah. Actually, no, they said that on AEW. It was on Being the Elite. Chris Jericho told one story, which I'm surprised that I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be angry about this, and it's just understand and where this is what's going on. So what happened was I'm going to explain Jericho's, and I'm going to try to be careful not to get in trouble with YouTube, but let me explain. Jericho told a story, apparently, when both of them were, at that time, in WWE. And around that time, understand, AEW was not even a thing yet. I mean, I know we had Being the Elite going, but yeah, what happened was, Chris Jericho and Brodie Lee, who was at that time wrestling in WWE as Luke Harper, would end up traveling to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I know most of you guys are going to be mad at me saying that, but it was true. They were in the, I think it was the city of Jeddah. Anyway, now before they went out to the show, Jericho was in the back, and he was wondering what was something on the wall that was like some kind of sticker thing, and Jericho was like angry about this. Well, Brodie came into him, and Brodie somehow was in there, and he told him that's where they point of the Mecca. You know, it's a part of the Muslim religion, and that's where they would pray to Mecca. So yeah, that's what it was. So Jericho had learned something while he was in Saudi Arabia, and it was really kind of crazy, if you ask me. But anyway, I heard some other stories about Brodie Lee, and then of course the matches. Oh man. I'll never forget that. All of them were tag team matches that night, last night, and oy. And now I want to clarify something before I talk about the matches. A lot of those verified accounts who were watching AEW kind of mistaken that Lance Hoyt, otherwise known as Lance Archer, was being Luke Harper. The correct thing is he wasn't. If I know Lance, he went as far as to gone to the classic look, which is when he was in the independent scene, not when he was in WWE, because because when he was in WWE, he had worn, because I remember this, he wore vest, when he was part of the Wyatt family, and, when he and Eric Rowan, which I can't believe I'm going to speak about him soon. When him and Eric Rowan were part of the Wyatt family, and then before they became the Bludgeon Brothers. It's really kind of a shocking thing to say about this, but yeah, I just want to clarify that. It's not that he was being Luke Harper. If he was, he would have been wearing a plaid vest. Instead, it was the classic Brodie Lee when he was wrestling in the independent scene. I noticed that. I don't know why Lance went with it, what people were saying on Twitter, but it was entirely false. So that's what I'm just saying. Because if he was going for what he was in WWE, yeah, he would be wearing a vest. Now, don't get me wrong, unless it is wrong, let me know down in the comments, okay? So, anyway, of course, now for the matches, they're all tag team matches. All of them were actually, all but except for the women's tag team match, were in 6-man. The women's tag team match was just a normal tag team match. So, what happened? Well, AEW kicks off a 10-bell salute to honor of that, and that's usually a tradition to have a 10-bell salute before you start to tribute to somebody you lost and who had been a pro wrestler, and that's how it happened. So anyway, the show. Then from there, the first was the 6-man tag team match of the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana versus Matt Hardy and Private Party. Now, I don't know what came over me to say this, but damn. I will say this. Private Party, Matt Hardy, Young Bucks, Colt Cabana, geez, they put on a freaking clinic. I'm sorry to say that, but they did. But mostly on that show last night was, I think the person who deserved the best was definitely Colt Cabana. And believe me, especially when I was on Twitter and all I saw was a tweet from Golden Boy, who is a, if you guys don't know, he is a huge wrestling fan. He's a commentator. He did some appearances with AEW. He is a commentator mostly doing the Titan games and for anything that has to deal within esports gaming. That's what I mean by, with Call of Duty or Fortnite. So yeah. And when I saw him something, he was responding to WWE's Sami Zayn, who tweeted out, "I love Colt," or something like that. And he agreed to it. And yes, because everybody knows that Colt Cabana actually. Usually when I see Colt Cabana wrestle, he comes up just being himself, but I think him coming out as Boom Boom, I think I know why. And it has to deal with, I guess, the first time they wrestled, I think Colt was going by Colt Boom Boom Colt Cabana, or Colt Boom Boom Cabana. I don't know. If there's any way of explaining this, I hope Colt Cabana can. Yeah. And it was cool to see him. It was cool to see Young Bucks. And despite of it was that Matt Hardy and Private Party got booed, it really stinks. But I know because they were being the heels, and throughout the tag team match, geez, I'll never forget that what Matt Hardy did, because I tweeted on Twitter and tweeted about classic Young Bucks, classic Colt Cabana, dirty Matt Hardy, only on AEW Dynamite. Anyway, so yes, what happened was that Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks had defeated Private Party and Matt Hardy. Party Hardy, oh god. Knew that rhymes. I said it like that. Anyway, so anyway, after the match, the Acclaimed came out and they decided to insult, tried to go and insult the Young Bucks, but SCU came out and shut them up, tossed the boys in the ring, and Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks took care of the Acclaimed. I mean, I'm sorry guys, but if any of you are fans of that tag team, I mean, those two are like, no. It's and I, even though I'm just glad that SCU came out and just shut them. Well, I mean, because I did not want them to interrupt the show, because this was for Brodie Lee, and that was the weirdest thing what the Acclaim did. So anyway, and the next, sorry, this is so weird right now. Give me a moment. So the second tag team match was Stu Grayson and Evil Uno has been a tag team for a long time. They're considered to be, I would consider to be the original members of the Dark Order, which, by the way, here's a little fun fact. Before they were known as the Dark Order, they were gone by another tag team known as the Super Smash Brothers. So, yes, and it was really, and that's what they were running in the independent scene, and, at the time, before he was known as Stu Grayson, he was known as Player Dolls, and Evil Uno was just known as Player Uno, and the two of them actually wore masks and similar colors to that of Mario and Luigi. And believe me, I had to look through this through on YouTube. Apparently because since their days in Chikara, that's where I got the stuff from. But since then, the two of them became now known as the Stu Grayson and Evil Uno of the Dark Order. So yes, they too have been tag team partners for quite a while. And so as I went to go look through my tweets, so the second match was Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, the original members of the Dark Order, teaming up with Lance Archer, which I tweeted saying, which Lance is going for the classic Brodie Lee look when Brodie was in the Independency, are in action against Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and Blade. And by the way, I forgot to mention that Jake Roberts and Ali, aka the Bunny, were both at ringside, in their respective corners to keep an eye on the keep an eye on everybody. And of course, the first part of the match, as I remember, was Evil Uno so clever. He got Brodie Rensberg to check on Eddie Kingston, and Evil Uno sneak attacked on Eddie. Meaning, what happened was Bryce was checking to see if he had he went down and he checked the for any weapons, and Evil Uno did was he jumps over Dex and he like uses him. Of course, it was a heck of a show with all three of them, and it turns out, yes, and so and I tweeted epic win for the trio of Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Lance Archer. A victory was interrupted by Eddie Kingston, but got whooped by Archer, Uno, Grayson, and I put dots. Jake Roberts. So when it was after the match had ended, Eddie Kingston tried to go and attack the three men, but instead the three of them one by one each took them out, and then Jake Roberts started to get in for the fun. There were more stuff happened. Anyway, this is the next tag team match was Adam Page teaming up with Alex Reynolds and John Silver took on against MJF, Santana, and Ortiz. And apparently when I tweeted was MJF has some weird new tights. Alex and John has better tights. Even actually Hangman has new tights too. But what happened was in the reference to it, was when I said weird is because what happened was MJF was trying so hard to be in the good graces of Santana and Ortiz. He was go so far as to have him wearing having his tights that are with the Puerto Rican flag, and I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Anyway, so anyway, the match begins with, apparently the match begins with when both Alex and John had, before the bell rings, Alex and John had, papers. So apparently the guys decided to throw the papers at MJF and Santana and Ortiz, and Jericho was on commentary and he was like, so salty. I tweeted out here, quoting AEW on TNT, says, when they tweeted, opening up the match with a Brodie Lee staple, you love to stay. And I quote tweeted, the papers. Brodie always threw papers at Alex John, and heck, even Evil Uno got smacked by the stack. That was straight up from what happened was, if you guys haven't seen the latest Being Delete, what happened was, they had decided to put together every segment the Dark Order had with Brodie Lee, and apparently there was a running gag that Brodie would be so angry to the Dark Order, he would go on and have them being smacked by papers. It's just because of that. So I'm like, oh jeez. And it was just way too funny. Some other tweets I said was, what, he's here, as the reference to Brodie Lee's former tag team partner, Eric Rowan. Somehow ended up showing up during this craziness, and despite what happened. And I also mentioned Brodie Lee Jr., aka -1, hit MJF with a candlestick, and Chris Jericho was freaking out, and I laughed so hard. There were some things. What happened was, during the match, MJF tries to go and pass gun straight after the younger Brodie Lee, and ripped the mask off his face, and he spat on it because he was being disrespectful towards his like father. Well, the kid says to pull up a candlestick and just whack MJF on it. He just whacked him hard. I like the kid, you know. And the match ended with the former Eric Rowan showed up a little bit after, because Wardlow came and he was about to take out Hangman Page, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver, but it was Rowan who saves them. Although Jericho got a little bit mad at Jake Hager for not helping, because Hager knows that he's ready to kill Wardlow next week. I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean by those two are gonna destroy each other come next week. But anyway, so back to that. There were more. So they were like talking about videos, and there were more people talking about Brodie Lee. I think the one who really broke. The one who actually, I think there were two who really told the best, and kind of broke down, and made me kind of broke down, and I think everybody would agree. Bryce Rensberg, referee Bryce Rensberg, who has known Brodie for a while and had to reconnect after his stunt in WWE. Bryce really was hitting the points right there. And as for Eddie, jeez, I never seen this side of him. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, his story about his story about Brodie Lee, and then saying to Brodie's sons, the young Brodie and Nolan, I was like, damn, Eddie, when did you get this? Why are you so good? Anyway, so next we had Anna Jay and Tay Conti came out in tag team match in the face against Dr. Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. And during and when Anna and Tay came out, they both made a heart together. It was so cute. I did that. I tweeted that out and did that face. Anyway, so while during the match, I got a little distracted. I decided to jump on Twitter, and I found out John Silver and Alex Reynolds were like trending on. I found out John Silver is trending on Twitter. I was like, yep. I can't believe it was trending. And then, of course, the ladies of Anna, Jay and Tai Conti had won. And then, of course, Dr. Britt Baker, she had brought Tony Schiavone into ringside, and Britt got and Britt got the mic, and Britt says that she was so upset about the tag team matches, and especially her match, but she turned into a pun in tribute to Brodie Lee, but then she gets attacked by Thunder Rosa. What happened was she was, being like, ha 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 ha. I mean, alright, Britt, why are you so mad? And, turns out she turns into she said it was a big rig, get it? And she winks. I'm like, okay, you're slick, Britt Baker. You're so slick, Dr. Britt Baker. I get the idea. Then, but as she was about to say something else, she got viciously attacked by Thunder Rosa, who got pulled apart, and Rebel had to make sure Britt was okay. Of course, the main event happens with Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Preston Vance, otherwise known as 10, had took on against Team Taz, which is consisting of Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Will Hobbs. The powerful Will Hobbs. And it was so crazy during this match. Huh? Wait, I didn't see this. Wait, really? Anyway, so glad I avoid that. There were some things like in the main event, especially when I tweeted and said, "Oh wow, 10 saved Cody from Brian Cage." Yeah, Brian was about to totally destroy Cody, but Brian ends up wrestling. And I tweeted also, Taz versus Arn Anderson in a chair battle. Classic. When it was during the match, somehow the match was getting so out of control. I thought Will was getting out of control. It's so far. It ended up that both Taz and Arn Anderson got chairs, and they were about to hit somebody. But I think what happened was Taz was about to hit somebody with a steel chair, and Arn Anderson grabbed a chair, and he went after him. So, in the end of the match, it turns out Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 had defeated Team Taz. Now, after the match had ended, when the victory had happened, Team Taz got attacked them viciously. But before not long, so next thing you know, lights goes off and comes back on. It's freaking Darby Allin, and he comes out, and he's not just by himself. Lights goes off, lights goes back on. It's starting to snow, and next thing you know, Sting comes out. I'm like, oh God. I was like, yeah, I knew this would happen. And of course, Team Taz got some confused. But it turned out it's fair. And then I said, now that's fair. Team Taz, and this time with Taz and his son, who were both joined by pairing Brian Cage, Ricky Stark, and Hobbs. And then I said, they tweeted, and the unholy alliance of Sting, Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, Ted, and Darby Allin. Because what happened was Darby Allin Sting joins the boys, and they all staring down out at stared out, and of course the ending of the show was a really crazy tributes, including a speech by Cody, which apparently, when I tweeted, said a fan shouted, "Cody MF Rhodes." I didn't want to curse, but somebody did curse calling Cody that. I don't like. Oh. And then Cody, crying his eyes out, he was telling his story about. He tells the story about him and Brodie Lee, and the next thing you know, Cody introduced Brodie Lee Jr., who comes out with his mother Amanda, who has Brodie Lee's boots. And who also came out with. They both came out with, and behind them was Preston Vance, I believe, and apparently they were also joined by the president of AEW, Tony Khan. I was like, well, this is a first. And then I tweeted, Tony Khan had to give Brodie Lee Jr. the replica of the TNT Championship to him, recognize him as I guess, Brodie Lee, not the son, as TNT Champion for life. And then it says, and apparently, if you guys want to know, TNT Drama on Twitter acknowledged it. TNT Champion for life. # Rip Brodie Lee. Yes, that is the channel. I mean, seriously. And then, of course, it says, which it ends off with a tribute video of his time in pro wrestling. And then, which I also included, a photo of Brodie Lee with the late Larry Sweeney. I hope those two are sharing a laugh in their time together. Meaning, if you guys don't know, there's another pro wrestler, which I had learned from, out of all the people I think of, Chris Hero, is about who Larry Sweeney was. He was a manager and a wrestler. And there was a photo of Brodie Lee and Larry Sweeney together. And what happened was, about, I guess, since the New Year's happening, I would say it would be marking 10 years since his passing in 2011. Yeah, and I don't want to explain how he died, because it was a horrible situation. But now, since Brodie Lee's passed, I'm just hoping the two of them reunite in the great beyond, sharing a laugh about their time together. Anyway, my final thoughts about this is, that was a heck of a thing they pulled. Everybody, especially those within who are not involved with AEW, those in WWE, which I'm hoping they all don't get in trouble for this. They all watched, they all saw the tribute for him, and I will say this, Tony Khan is the man. I mean, seriously, he's the man. What he has done, and having executed with his staff, I'm amazed. So not only he thanks Brodie Lee, but as the whole entire pro wrestling community I want to say is, thank you, Tony Khan. Anyway, this is NG Rogers. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off. Please hit the like button. Also subscribe. Make sure notifications are definitely turned on. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye.